Purpose of wealth. 2. Security. Hello Aluxers, and welcome back to the part 2 of our Purpose of Wealth series. If this is the first time you're watching, we recommend you go back and start with part 1. Wealth is a topic that fascinates a lot of us as it goes beyond just money. If last time we discussed wealth as a facilitator of freedom, today we discuss wealth in a different light, one of protection, of safety nets, and more. Since our earliest days, the ones that survived the storm carried their genes forward, and in time, we understood just how important shelter and survival are. Every living being out there wants survival for themselves and for their offspring, with most being willing to sacrifice themselves as a last layer of protection for the new generation. Today, we'll discuss the role of wealth in this process of survival and protection. The first one we'll cover is also the most obvious one. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. If you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out. Physical security, where through wealth, one can directly protect the health of those sitting under the wealth umbrella. This is why wealth gives the bearer a great unfair advantage. It gives you that slight edge that might allow you to escape death's grip where others wouldn't be able to. The most direct example here is medical costs, where you don't have to start up a GoFundMe page hoping to go viral in order to take care of your child's surgery. You just pay for the best medical treatment your wealth can buy. Money buys you a fighting chance. This is why rich people buy expensive SUVs. If you get into a car accident and you're in a Volvo or a Tesla, your chances of survival are slightly better than if you were driving a less secure car. Rich people understand this and leverage their fortunate position to protect themselves and those they love. In terms of physical security, you can even look beyond that, where wealthy individuals move their families out of less safe environments. While the average person is stuck in the environment they're born in, the rich, through the power of wealth, simply pick their families up and move everyone across the world to get their family out of harm's way. As an individual, you're responsible for your own physical security and that of your inner circle. No matter the dimension of your wealth, you should carefully consider how to deploy a good portion of it to provide this type of security. It's a long-term insurance policy you don't want to skip out on. Immediately after the one where you actually die is the next step of security that wealth can facilitate. Security from poverty, and all that comes with it, all the pain and sometimes misery. We are hierarchical creatures, and although money doesn't buy you happiness, it can get rid of a lot of sources of unhappiness. Wealth is meant to solve this for you. It's there to make sure you and those you care about will never return to a deficient state where you have to worry about keeping the lights on, heating, or putting food on the table. This is the fundamental reason why you should focus on building wealth apart from building lifestyle. It's also why you see famous people go broke. They're so tied up in maintaining their lifestyle that the cost of opportunity results in them sacrificing wealth. The secret is, you can actually have both, but you need to build wealth first and allow wealth to pay for your lifestyle. What would happen if you became incapacitated and unable to work for the next 12 months? Would your family be okay? How much of your lifestyle would be impacted? Maybe poverty isn't an immediate worry for the majority of you, but what about debt? Today's society runs on debt. Almost everyone out there has this gloomy, dark cloud of debt following them everywhere they go. Can you imagine having this burden off of your shoulders to know that you're free? We know what it's like growing up not having much, and the pain and harm that the lack of something so trivial as money has caused us. This is why we made it our mission to never go back to that space. Wealth protects you from ever feeling like this again. A common mistake people make is believing that well-paying jobs are the same as security from poverty, but they're mistaken. They lied to you, but they lied because they didn't know any better. They told you that in order to be rich and successful in life, you would need a well-paying job. But that's not true. Nobody gets rich working for someone else. In order to build wealth, you need to own things that appreciate in value rapidly, which brings us to the next type of security. Security through diversification. If you want to be rich, you need to own a business, parts of other businesses, real estate, in-demand commodities, or what is commonly referred to as stores of value, like Bitcoin, art, or gold. By the way, if you go to Alux.com/Bitcoin, you can learn how to get started with crypto and invest in Bitcoin while the price is still low at under $100,000. For as long as you can remember, wealthy individuals in history were pictured as having incredible amounts of gold. That's why treasure chests were filled with gold coins. The true purpose of wealth is to completely remove the financial burden from the individual. The only way to truly achieve this is by having multiple sources of income independent from you. If there's one thing you remember from this entire series on wealth we're doing, let it be this. As long as you live, if you manage to create multiple sources of income that do not rely on your input to generate income, you will be free, rich, and never have to worry about money. This type of diversification of income is the most advanced type of financial security, and it's super important because it protects you from the next type of event: security from black swan events. For those of you who've never heard the term before, a black swan event refers to something that is statistically unlikely to happen, but does happen every once in a while. Leave a comment below if you didn't know black swans even existed. For example, the pandemic was a black swan event. The poor were the hardest hit. We've all heard Ellen complain about how terrible the quarantine is from her $27 million compound and access to high-quality medication 24/7. Wealth gives you the power to combat that 1 in a million rare illness that costs a fortune to treat. Wealth gives you the unfair advantage to be okay when everybody else would be in complete panic mode. It's the ship you have in your backyard, knowing damn well at some point the flood will come, especially since you've seen those clouds looking pretty different lately. And lastly, Social Security. And no, we're not talking about your Social Security number. By Social Security, we mean putting a distance between you and the harm society can cause you. Discrimination is playing an incredibly nefarious role in our society, and to some degree, wealth can shelter you from it. Success, fame, and wealth serve the same purpose: security through elevation. Wealth goes beyond your skin tone, your accent, or your birthplace. It levels the playing field among the participants, and it's hard to look down on someone who's wealthier than you. Unless you screw everything up on an incredible scale, through wealth, you'll be fine. The purpose of wealth is to protect you against any type of harm: mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. If you want your kids to be safe, become wealthy, which is why we're now passing the question on to you. What is one time in your life where wealth could have bought you security, but you didn't have it? Let us know in the comments. And for those of you still watching, here's your bonus: security through new lives. What if you could flip a switch and starting tomorrow, you would be someone else in a new country with a new name, a new identity, and the world is your oyster? What if you wanted to escape it all and instead of calling it quits like most people do, you could choose to simply become someone else? Wealth allows you to do just that. It can open doors, get you citizenships, and make new homes for you if that's what you decide to deploy it toward. Wealth is welcomed everywhere it goes, and because you have it, so will you. Just make sure you take care of it. Be rich enough that you could be anyone in the world and still choose to be yourself. We hope you found this second part interesting enough to watch it. Part 3, 4, and 5 will probably come at a later date during the week, as this series is by no means over. But next Sunday, we'll probably cover a more time-sensitive money topic, so check to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. The key word for today is security. Write it down in the comments to let us know you've made it until this point in the video. We thank those of you who do.